I'm Steve with Elevate, and we have a really cool Elevated 8 tonight here with Jem Glass. Wow, this girl is really knocking stuff out of the park. She's amazing. You got to check her out, and I'm really excited to get to meet her. Really quickly, I also want to throw out there, we need your help. If you like what you see here, subscribe, follow us. But more importantly, we also have a ElevateAmbassador.com program. Elevate Ambassadors is our program where you get to help us build up Elevate, which helps build up the entire industry, I feel. And when you help us, you can earn credits and you get to earn the good feeling that you're helping build Elevate. Also, we have Elevate Veterans. It's our 501c3. If you like helping out as an Elevate doll or Elevate gent, you'll also like helping out the Elevate Veterans. It's a really cool thing. And these cats we're helping out, it's really cool. We get to help them out with some vapes or some cannabis here in Colorado. So really cool. Anyways, enough with that. Let's get into this Elevated 8 with Jem Glass. All right, we got Jem Glass to here on Elevated 8, and welcome, Jem. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Yeah. So the first question and my most important question to me is, how did you get into this crazy glass game of glass blowing?
Like from the beginning, basically, like what brought me into it.
Yeah. What brought you into it? How did you get into this?
Right. Well, I've always liked art. I was going to community college to do art. I didn't really know what. I was two-dimensional, just drawings, paintings and stuff. And my boyfriend at the time kept saying, you really need to get this bead kit at Hobby Lobby. This is so cool. It's $100. It's a map gas torch, soft glass, mandrels, bead stuff. And I was just like, you get the thing. What do you want from me, man? I'm going to school right now. I'm busy, And so one day he shows up with a bead kit from Hobby Lobby, and that just started it all, And so we're making these beads and going on YouTube, trying to find stuff out. Got the contemporary lamp working by Bondu. And then it was like, oh, we need a bigger torch because I want to make pendants. So, and then it just kind of spiraled from there. It's like, okay, if we buy tubing, we can make spoons, if, yada, yada. So.
Right. So it wasn't even in your, I guess, sights to get into glass, and somehow Hobby Lobby is what opened it up.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, definitely. Yep. They had the supplies in my town. So it made it more possible. Because at first, it really just wrapping my head around figuring out what I needed to set a studio up and everything. It was very overwhelming. There's a lot that goes into it, especially when you don't know. And so, yeah, I guess, yeah, I had a lot of help in that too, just like it being available to me with a shop and everything like that. So at first, but yeah, it really wasn't in my sights at first. And then I just started really loving it. Yeah.
Did you consume cannabis before this or after this? Or usually I ask if you do. I just wonder because I don't know, sometimes people get into the glass because they seen a glass pipe or something, and Hobby Lobby got it to you. And
well, no, yes is the answer. Yes, before and after. But yeah, my parents were like kind of hippies back in the day. And so they knew the guy that owned the local head shop, Mother Murphy's. It's been around since the 60s. It's in Bloomington, Illinois. So I remember going in there with my grandma and my mom and like my nephew and my sister. And it was like, we realized we had all these generations of people in one head shop, and I always wanted to see what was in the back and I just couldn't. And finally I somehow got back there and saw and was like pointing out to my sister because she was old enough, buy that one for me, and I'll pay you for it. And yeah, pipes, I've loved pipes for so long. And I remember making like gravity bongs out of like lamps and shit and stuff like that. Just trying to, like the beginnings of it, I guess. Yep. I just never think about that when it comes to glass because it was all like, plastic shit and metal and stuff, whatever I could fit into the lamp. Yep. So, yeah.
Man, that's pretty neat. And then how did you get your glass name, Jem Glass?
That's actually my initials. Jamie Aaron Morse is my maiden name, and then I married a guy with the last name Mays, so it kind of ended up working out there. I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to change my name if I meet a guy and marry him, you know. And then it worked out. I could still.
So you could only meet a guy with an M last name, and
I know. I really looked hard. I found him finally, and we settled down. That was the only requirement, is the M, you know.
Well, that's good. It kept your name there, and it sounds like you're having a good relationship. So whatever the criteria, it worked out.
Yeah, it's not about the M, I swear.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
And then, so how long have you been blowing glass? When was this that Hobby Lobby got into your life?
2007. So I graduated from high school in 2006, and then 2007 was when that happened. So, yeah.
And so have you pretty much been on the torch since then, since the bead introduction? Right on.
Yeah. You know, like with time periods, because I eventually, like, after I got out of community college, I went to ISU. And John Miller teaches there. He's a pretty well-known artist, like glass artist. He makes like the giant hamburgers and big martini glasses for like really nice places in Vegas and stuff like that. And so, you know, I got to see that, like, hot shop work a lot. But yeah, I eventually ended up going to school for it because it was in my town that I was going to college. It's where I grew up, and it just kind of worked out. So
for borosilicate work,
what's that?
Borosilicate work was in your college that you did, or it was soft glass work?
It was actually, they had both. They had a soft glass mostly. That's what my teacher and basically all the grad students and everything that went there were doing. But they had this little lamp working section that with like 2 Carlyles and a bunch of really, really, really thin wall stuff that this guy had donated. I think it was lab glass that he donated. I mean, thin. It was like 2 millimeter, maybe 1 millimeter. I don't know. It was the thinnest stuff. It was like bubble and it was barely usable. And yeah, so you'd get into it. Like once I pulled out a tube thinking I was going to pull a point, and I was heating it. And then I realized about 30 minutes into trying to heat the end of this thing that it's a quartz tube and that I'm not going to freaking melt it, you know? So yeah, nobody was teaching me anything there. Actually, I ended up teaching a lot of people everything that I was learning outside of school at the time, but yeah.
Wow. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then did you have a mentor around you for the Boro world while you got started, or was it just kind of just hitting wing off of YouTube and just trying what you're trying?
A little bit. Yeah. It was a little bit of both. I mean, learning things in the hot shop, there's a lot of similarities that you can pull from it, you know, and I was working in the hot shop while I was there. So I was just learning how glass works when I was in school, and then trying to do all my projects and stuff in Boro because that's what I was the most confident in, but I was still working in the hot shop. So John Miller, he was a huge influence on me. John Moran, he was working there at the time. There was a lot of artists there, but you know, I took a couple classes here and there, but for the most part, I was just working in our shop, making production, just trying to get better and pay the bills, you know, so on the Boro end of things, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what kind of glass did you start out making? Were they just the pendants, or did you really start out in the pipes and move into that fairly quickly?
Well, the first thing that I was really passionate about was flower implosions. So like on the torch, I just really loved it. And I got pretty good at it pretty quick, I thought, at least. You know, I look back on pictures of that stuff and I'm like, wow, that really was lopsided, or that, you know, but every now and again I get a bad flower now where it's just the wrong color scheme and it's like, turd, throw it away or whatever. But I still do the flower implosions. I still love doing it. And yeah,
me too.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to watch it bloom and finding out different ways to make it different shapes on the inside and stuff. That's what I've been like trying to do now, I guess. But I really want to do a peony. And I like saw something online and I kind of got something in my head. So we'll see if it works out.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So classes you took right at the beginning of soft class. Have you taken any classes later on in your career that you feel helped you out?
Yeah. Well, when I was in school too, I was taking classes outside of school. Everest Tubes up in Elizabeth, Illinois. They had a couple classes there that we paid to go to. And yeah, it was like I took an Eric Ross class there. And so we learned how to do vac stacks at that place. I get them confused because I took a Yusheen class and an Eric Ross class. And I didn't know anything. Like it was really early on and I didn't know anything. I was just like writing notes like a crazy person. So I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm not going to be able to do this right away. And then I would go back to my notes and I'd still have at least that information and a little bit of memory of that. But a lot of the time when I'd learn a class or take a class, it would be just like way over my head. And I feel like I was like dropped into these situations where I was just so privileged to be there because I had no idea what I was doing, but then after I graduated college, I got a scholarship to go to Corning for a week and I took a Sue Ellen Fowler class, which was like, oh man, that just changed so much for me. So yeah, it was an amazing class. Yeah.
So you definitely recommend that if you can get a class in with somebody that you look up to, do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish I could right now. I just have kids. And so finding, it's like finding time because you don't go for a 3-day class. Okay. Yeah. But that's got to be like large group of people and you're not going and trying to blow glass afterward. You're just learning the stuff and watching the demos, because there's no time in 3 days. But I would want like week or 2 weeks and to leave my kids for that long. They're young, they're 4. I can wait, and try to just talk to as many people as possible and figure it out in studio for now, at least, but yeah, I want to take classes. There's a million people that I want to learn from right now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it really, what I've noticed is that person that knows how to teach, they can bring your skill set from here to here when you can only go to here. Just, they really help out.
One go, it's like I can look back at those 3 classes that I just named and basically everything that I knew up until like a year and a half or 2 years ago, it was all that stuff, and I just conglomerated it and made whatever, with it. I'd make a Sherlock from an Eric Ross demonstration or, but it always was drawn from one of those 3 classes, basically. I mean, the fundamentals I learned in Bondu's books and yada, yada, but that stuff that just like created my career, I can push it to those three classes. Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration and creativity from?
Shoot, everywhere. I don't know. I kind of like, it's always going in my head, it's like constantly flowing up there. Nature, a lot of times, people online, other artists. I mean, man, when I figured out who Lyric was, like, she's just incredible. And everything she does, like, everything she touches is beautiful, looking at Blossom's work, Eric Schmidt's, like his different line patterns and stuff. They're just amazing. Just a lot, artists out there, like all of them. I just try to know as many as I can, at least know their work and say, I'm never going to do something the way they do it, even if I try. So try it, so yeah.
But those things really help you inspire, give you things that you might not have seen. And
yeah.
If you see something from somebody and they don't show you how to do it and you try to copy it, I don't know if it's a bad thing. It's just trying to figure out an amazing thing that they did. And you're not copying it because you probably can't do their style. You're just trying to figure something out, I think, is kind of how it works.
And I always, it's like sharing, I do a lot of people do like the cosmic tech, tubing and stuff like that. And the way that I did it, I just figured it out on my own. I didn't have anybody show me. And It just makes it a little bit more unique. And I know other people that do it the same way. It's not that like, it's not rocket science, but I'm willing to say I grind up a bunch of silver. I run a magnet through it, make sure there's no other pieces of metal in there. And I dump it into a tube and sleeve it over black, after fuming the inside and stuff. And it's easy and it's beautiful. And you get all these beautiful colors, and the little pieces of silver turn gold sometimes, just depending. And it's nice, and whatever, there's that information. Just please take it and make something of your own of it, like that's because I feel like I just want to spread the news. That's what,
Right. I agree. There's like certain things like you own a little thing that you're making. Like if you're making the certain art thing, that's yours. But the technique to get there, it's just a technique that let's have all fun, share it. And space is infinite. So
we all know when somebody's copying somebody, like you can, it's like that is a knockoff of that. One of the best compliments I've ever gotten from a head shop was, hey, I had these people come in and they were making these curly bats just like yours, but they weren't just like yours. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I basically looked at him in the face and told him they were knocking you off. Like, I was like, well, you could have bought it, but that's really nice. Like, that's super sweet of you. Thank you. Right. But yeah, it's a compliment though, it is.
It really is. And I think there was something, the best thing of saying something nice to somebody is when you knock them off. So, or the best.
Right. The highest form of flattery, right, is to copy.
There you go.
Or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your preferred style or technique that you really love to do?
I really like doing the scene work that I've been working with, where I just orient the colors in a certain way in my vac stacks, and then the way that I stack them up, it kind of makes a sunset, and then for the competition, I was doing like, instead of a sun, I did black. So it made like a black archway for like a tunnel of love type thing for the swans to come out of, and then connected it with the water flow. And then just kind of figuring out how to piece the line tubing together, how many lines to put in here and there to make like a river or yada, yada. It's just like a fun adventure for me. And then I get to decorate the outside, which is my very favorite thing to do, is adding animals and flowers and stuff like that.
So you're really mixing, like, it seems like a lot of technical work with artistic work, and with the line work, it's just really technical stuff, and then adding on the stuff to just, you're really meshing the two things together, I think. Well, so
thank you. That's a very nice compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And what's your favorite color to work with if you only had one color to choose?
Origin. I love Origin, and they make blush, and I used to do a lot of sky blue, and then I think it's Caribbean. That's my favorite now. I just love the pastels a lot, like in stacks, because I do a lot of stacks, but they haven't made them in a while. I mean, unless, I don't know if they've made them recently. I haven't put an order in for color to ask, but
I heard
they're
they
making
were out.
bagpipes for the government. Damn it! It's like, no, make pink and blue. Like, everybody needs it. Like, what am I supposed to do when they run out? Because I buy them at like 20 to 50 pounds at a time when I can get it, and then whenever I can replace it, anytime I'll replace my pound, so that way when something like this happens, I can still hit my color schemes that I want to do.
Yeah, nobody does blue like they do. They're whatever they do, it's.
Or pink.
Yeah,
or that
pink.
Yeah, it's so vibrant. But I guess my favorite though is Mighty Might. That green. It's
okay.
Just like, whew, the way it sparkles, it's just everything I put it on, it makes me happy. So
yeah. Sparkles are always nice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What color have you found that you don't like, that it's not for you anymore, or you don't want it?
Well, recently I kind of was about to like totally disown unobtainium completely. I've had a lot of luck with it where other people haven't, and vac stacks.
No way.
Then, yeah, I have. And then within the last year or two, it's like every single tube I get one or two pieces broken, and I'm like, okay, it's worth it because it's sparkly, but it's not worth it. Like it isn't. There's one customer and he's been getting the same color schemes for a long time, and because he's got an online shop and he wants you to be able to pick it, like drop down style.
Mhm.
And so I'll do it for him. And that's about it. I've completely taken it out, and I'm trying to find a blue like that though. I mean, there just isn't an opaque blue that's like that. And then I saw one from North Star that wasn't sparkly, and I didn't remember the color name, and like I couldn't find, I just can't find it anywhere. I've talked to the people at North Star about it. They don't know what I'm talking about. Like
Heavy Stardust is a very nice color from them. It's kind of like a cobalt blue, but it's got beautiful sparkle. You can't gray it out. It's just
I don't even need it to be sparkly. I just want a blue, like
that beautiful blue.
Blue, yeah, like vibrant blue. It's cobalt, but not transparent.
That's the problem with cobalt, is it's transparent, and you're like,
yeah,
I want opaque blue.
I know, yeah. God, the problems we have in this world, damn it.
Yeah. But a good thing we got some good colors.
Like I made where is it? It was sitting right here. I'm sorry. I made this freaking awesome eagle, and it freaking broke on me because I used unobtainium, and that was like the day that I'm like, never again. And but I'll go back to it probably.
It's that color. It's like I guess they would be like a siren. It keeps calling you into it for to get you.
A siren, that's totally it. It does. I can't stop it. It's like a bad boyfriend that you just don't learn the learn the mistake, man. Get away.
But because it gives you those neat little opportunities where you did get it, and you're like, no, it did it. That means I can do it again. And then it's like,
it's true. Yeah, it's like an abusive relationship on obtainium.
Yep. What are your favorite items to blow? Are they pipes, rigs, Sherlocks, pendants, maybe cups?
Pipes, I guess. I mean, I make the most of them. I really have enjoyed making pendants recently because it just gives me freedom to sculpt and I don't know. I can turn my head off a little bit and still like just be freer with it. I don't know. I get pretty bogged down in making the pipes for production, get the orders out. And recently, I guess, like when I go to like be more creative and learn a little bit more, I'm trying to learn more sculpting and stuff like that, at least. So anything with sculpting, that's, I guess, is what I've enjoyed the most. So
right on. Oh, yeah. What's the most difficult piece that you've ever attempted?
That was hard. I made a really big trumpet a long time ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was just like a Dr. Seuss trumpet, and it had all sorts of attachments, and it was a dry piece, which is the funniest thing. And like, it just so much airflow through it, like the least functional of functional things ever. But somebody bought it, I had a pretty high tag on it, and I ended up going down and then like giving some stuff to him on the side, because I was just like, I just don't want to carry this around with me anymore. Like basically I had it for so long and I like the guy, so yeah.
Right on. So it was a trumpet that looked like you couldn't blow through it, and kind of maybe you could just make noises with it.
No, I mean, it just like I had things that looked like valves on it, and I don't know, it just kind of looked like a trumpet. I don't know. Everybody that saw it was like Dr. Seuss trumpet. And so, yeah, it was like, that was what I had in mind. I had the carb was on the top. It was one of the 3 valves. So,
right.
Or buttons.
So
I don't know. Button. I don't know. I don't play the trumpet. So
I think that's what they are, is valves. So,
okay. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Do you collaborate often with other blowers, or?
No, I wish I did. I have very little time. to do it, but I've asked a few people. I've gotten turned down a few times because they don't know me. I don't know a lot of people, honestly. In October, I am going up to Bloomington and collaborating with some old shop mates, which is cool. I'm really excited about it. It's because I'm kind of going crazy, like out in the woods, just working by myself constantly. And it'd just be nice to be in the room with a few other glass blowers at the same time. But
yeah. It's not a bad thing.
I did with cherry glass. That was a lot of fun. And they did like a little stand. We did a couple of pieces. They turned out really nice. And then did one with Obe Glass. He sent his little scene, and then I made a lady, a couple of them where we made like earth mothers. And so it was like a sculpted woman with like a pregnant earth around like belly. It was kind of cool for Earth Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And what's the most amount of time do you think you've ever put into a piece so far?
Well, I did an installation piece. I guess that was my biggest piece now that I think about it, but it was a lot of little pieces. It was like a rainstorm that I made inside of this hall with like where I pulled like points, and I'd like pull a point and then I'd have a bulb and then a bulb here. And it kind of like was like that, it was like going down like that all the way. And then I made like 400 of those, and they were all like 6 to 8 feet tall. And then we filled this hall with them, and you kind of had to like zigzag through and stuff. And that was months of work. But I also was welding these huge frames together to hold them up, because there's so much weight in glass hanging from the ceiling. I needed to make sure that it was bolted into the studs properly. And so like, it was a lot of like mental work that I got really nervous in the middle of. I'm like committed to this, and I don't know if I can hang this yet,
Right.
But yeah, that was huge. It filled a whole room at least. So
yeah, that's neat. A few months is a long time in a project. So
yeah.
And where did you get to hang that at?
There was like a small gallery. It was affiliated with Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. And basically I just had to write a thing, just like explaining what I wanted to do. And it was me and a friend that did the work. She did something in the front of the gallery, and then I did the rainstorm, and then we kind of collaborated at the end. And yeah, so we had to like write up an essay and say, this is what we're doing, this is our vision, and get approved. And we were in there for a couple months. So they like expanded it because like the time that we were in there, because it was a lot of work putting it up alone. And it was pretty, I don't know, it was pretty impressive, but it was something that I saw myself doing in the future, maybe one day doing like installation work and stuff with glass. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really neat. Have you ever competed in any events before?
One, yeah. The second Glass Roots.
Okay.
When they were doing flame offs back then. I think they only did 2 or 3, and then they stopped. Did they do 3? It was 2 or 3. And I was like 3 years into blowing glass at the time. I'd been to both. I've been to all of the Glass Roots except for all of them that were in Madison, and then the one in Asheville. And Deline was supposed to be working with Wild Rock, and then her flight got all messed up, and I was a stand-in because Nick needed another woman, because it was like a man-woman competition basically, where they were pairing off the two, and there was nobody else, and so they let me compete with Wild Rock, and our piece ended up breaking. I still have it, actually. It's broken, but yeah, that was intense. It was intense. It was like 9 hours of working. I didn't leave my torch except for one time to pee, and then like shovel some food in my mouth. And yeah, it was intense. And then it broke 15 minutes right before the end of the competition. So there was a lot of cussing happening, but
yeah, the pressure in those competitions is crazy, and you're competing against all these other artists, and they have the same pressure, and like all that pressure is pressing on.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the winners next to us too, like Micah Evans that year. I want to say he was with Tammy Baller that year, and they were right next to us. And it was like, I keep looking over at him, and he's like making this gigantic tree. And like, he's just like, Foof. And I've never seen anything that big before, like not out on a torch. And like, I'm competing with this guy. I'm just like, nope, I'm not looking at that. Like, I am not looking at this guy. This is crazy. If I do, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I just kept going and not looking up or around or anything. So I get all nervous in front of people when I'm blowing glass. I don't know, get all shaky.
That's a good point to point out, you know, in any competition or anything, don't worry about what's going on out there. Because the only thing that matters is your project and what you're doing. And whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter because it's now and you.
Yeah, just keep your eyes on the prize. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing I needed to do was finish a piece, you know, that was how I saw it. So but I've done like demos and stuff in front of people. That's a lot easier than competing with it. But yeah. I did. Old Shop did make a flame off where we just invited all of our buddies down and then we all competed with each other and had prizes and stuff just for fun. And we had some kegs and a bunch of like just threw a huge party and everybody got to watch us. And it was a fun time. But that was easy. That was fun.
Yeah, that was just sounds like a good time of everybody hanging out, talking shit. And
yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah. And then I guess you do consume cannabis yourself, or? Yeah, that's a stupid. And I think I asked that earlier. So, well, I guess the question would be, do you prefer flower concentrates, or do you just really love the plant?
Flower, yeah. Which is like the new like cool kid thing to say.
It's back to flower, right?
I thought they were talking about like flour that you cook with. And like, we literally had this whole conversation about flour. This person's talking to me about flour and I'm talking about cooking flour. And he's like, hey, did you bring any flour? And I was like, oh, I brought some to make the boys, like my son's pancakes in the morning. And I made their birthday cake with it. And he's just like, what? And he's like looking at me. They were 1 at the time. And I was like, well, we've got like 250 pounds at home. So I didn't bring all of it. Do you want me to bring you 50 pounds of flour? And he's just looking at me like, what the hell are you freaking talking about?
Context is everything.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, flour all the way. Like the whole dabs, like I get it, but like a pen, it always gives me a headache after a little while. I don't mind it off of glass and stuff. And I do like vaporizers, but I just can't do it all day long. And I've had some panic attacks, because it's just so strong and I am perfectly happy at the level I'm at. So, yeah.
Yeah. I also feel, and I don't know this, but I feel flour truly has everything in it. And when they extract it, whether it's pressure or a chemical, something is being left behind. I don't know what it is, but something's left, and all that leftover is, I think, what we enjoy out of the flower.
Whatever's being left behind is the thing that makes it so that my anxiety goes away completely. Because like that's part of the reason why I smoke is I get super like hyped up on the inside, and I just need to. I'm a hyperactive person, and unless I do, I can't get on the level with other people because like I will talk at you for a very long time, like at you. And if you want a word in, then you need me to come down a little bit, and that's just not like whatever it is that they're extracting out. That's what it is. It's the thing that makes me not anxious anymore. But
yeah. And I don't know what it is. I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but
yeah,
there's something with flour that's just more wonderful, I think.
It is. It tastes so good too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it all tastes really good, but yeah, it tastes so good. And it's so pretty. It just is a beautiful plant,
I think that's another thing too, like growing through the cannabis, with the herb and seeing the trichomes and the leaves, like
right
now people are showing you diamonds, which is just shit left over in the stuff that's sitting in it and this and that. I'm like, I don't want to see it. Like I want to see the crystals. So
yeah.
Neat stuff.
Anything that sparkles, I'm good with. So
back to the mighty moss.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Green sparkly things. I just am like drawn to it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, and then do you have any hobbies that are not glass outside of glass?
Ooh.
I
Oh
don't know how
man.
you find time now with kids and as a glass blower.
I used to keep my hands busy all the time, constantly, but I've been I'm like the only person blowing glass in my company. My husband, he helps with like getting stuff to the post office, and he'll talk to some shops on the phone, but for the most part, I'm doing most all the marketing. Like anything that you see posted, that's me doing that. I talk to the people on social media, which nowadays is most of it. And by the end of the day, I'm just like, come sit on my lap and hug me, like that's all I got, and it's like, yeah, no, not, I don't have any other hobbies. I like to cook a
All
lot.
right.
I'm a really good baker. Like I will, I will make you the best cheesecake that you've ever eaten,
So
and so
baking's
that's like,
a nice
what's
hobby you
that?
got. Baking is a nice hobby you got.
Yeah, cooking. Yep.
And I bet your family enjoys that as well, then.
Yeah, everybody likes my cheesecake. Yeah. I've
Well,
been told I should sell it, but
I'm gonna
I
have to
can't.
get me a piece of that somehow.
Yeah, huh. Anybody that wants my cheesecake, I want them to eat it. So I'll think
Nice.
about that one. I don't know about shipping it all the way there, but I know there are ways. So we'll
Yeah,
figure it
yeah.
out.
Do you use any of your own pieces when you do consume, or do you use other people's pieces?
My broken pieces.
You're a typical glass blower.
Flawed, yeah, broken and flawed. That's it. Yeah. Yep.
Right
It's
on, right
nothing
on.
fancy. Or yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really collect. I want to one day. I really do. I just have, I don't know, like, I've got priorities right now with where my money goes, and being a collector just isn't it. If like I could, I would spoil the hell out of my husband and just let him buy every new vinyl that came out, but that's my priority right now, is like to make him happy and that, like let's get him some vinyls and make him happy. But so when we can start buying vinyls, then maybe I'll start collecting stuff too and using it, or something that a friend gives me, or I've got some James Mullen pieces and stuff,
Nice.
but friend stuff, but mostly broken. Yeah.
Yeah. What can we look forward to in the future from you?
Scenes.
More
Yeah.
stained glass.
Yeah, more scenes. I've got some scene, like the way I'm orienting things, and I changed some stuff up a little bit. Different shaping that I've got in mind. I've add some of the old added with new. Like I don't have any hammers, I realized one day. So I thought, okay, let's just try to go through like some of the styles and figure out where I'm missing in the catalog and how I can like deck it out in a different way. I really don't need to add to my production stuff anymore. Right now I'm focusing on some higher end things, I guess. So you'll always see my production line out there, and I might add in some of that, but scenes, yeah, stuff more, some more outer decorations, and yeah, I've got lots of stuff in my head that I'm making time for in September. I've scheduled myself a week block to be able to like
Oh,
work
nice.
on some new stuff, basically, and it might be two. We'll see. I'm getting ahead of my orders right now, which is like a first ever. So, yeah.
So you're busting ass. That's how you're doing it, though.
Yeah. It's like 12 to 13 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And the last 2 weeks, it's been like 7 days in a row because like we have people come down here to visit, and I just want to be able to spend a 4-day chunk with them when they're here, And so I'll be like, I'll work the 7 days so that we can spend the weekend with these people,
The joy of
So,
being your own boss. You got to really
right.
try to find the balance, but also you can never stop busting ass because
Right.
you can't.
It's hard for the kids though, if I don't wake up at 4:30 and try to work as much as I can while people are sleeping, because like I want to spend time with my family. Like, I can't just like be in there all the time. Like my kids need me, so
Yeah.
yeah, it is like yeah, it's so important. I think about it all the time, but yeah.
Right on. That's neat. That's neat to see how you're scheduling your life so that you can give your kids time during the day when they're up. You're waking up bus time early, and
Right.
then I'm sure you're probably busting glass if you can find energy afterwards too. It's just
I have more energy than anyone I know. I don't know where it comes from. Probably the coffee that I drink all day.
so. Do you have the
But
shakes a little bit too sometimes?
I
The
don't know.
coffee
My shake.
shakes?
Well, I am kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I got the coffee shakes every time I'm there. I'm just like,
I just have the shake. I'm just a little shaky. Like I noticed it recently. I'm just a little shaky, but yeah.
I think it's just life.
Right. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Do you still find you have the same passion and love for glass today as when you first started?
Oh man, it is a love affair, like there's like long-term relationships, right? You kind of like fall in and out at times. And
Mm-hmm.
my passion flows in and out, like recently I've just been on fucking fire though. Like I just want to be there all the time. And it's hard to walk away a lot of days. Like my family's out of town right now. And so last night I was like, I got my stuff done for the day. I can go in and it's early because nobody came out to see me and I didn't have to stop and say hey or come in and hang out for lunch and I'm like, it's like 5 o'clock and I can go in and was like, I'm gonna go get a beer, got a beer and was like, I'm going back. And I, like was like getting tipsy, blowing glass last night. And then I freaking broke the thing this morning and I was totally sober. I dropped it.
Yeah, that's not good, but at least you had a good night last night though.
Yeah, but I wanted to, that was like, that's what I choose to do, like I want to, like, yeah, I love it. Yeah. It makes everything like balanced in my head. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
blowing glass does. Yeah.
Um, and then do you have any shout outs or things that we forgot to ask that you want to put a plug in there or anything like that?
Shout outs like, yo, 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 shout out to my homie.
I don't know. I have to put it in there sometimes. You've put a shout out already to your husband and your kids a little bit. I don't know what.
Yeah, David, Paul, and Emmerich, they're the best. Yeah, that's my family. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, there's just been so, like, you look at your life and like the flow of everything, and I feel like the luckiest person in the fucking world, man. Like, I really do. I have love in my life from 3 people that are the best. I've got just a great family outside of them too. And I get to do what I want every day. And, like you said, like I can schedule and I don't have to call my boss and ask somebody to fill in, which I've had those jobs for years. I was a waitress for 10 years. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just everybody, thank you for all the shops, I guess if I'm going to shout out, like, thank you shops for buying my pieces of crap glass all the way up until now.
Those are the
like,
best ones that believed in you when you're like, here's my wonderful stuff. And they're like, I don't think so.
They're like, yeah. Yeah. And like when you like have to haggle because like, yeah, like, yeah. Yeah, thank you to them, I guess. They're, just all the shops, all the artists that were willing to just like show me what they were doing and stand behind me and tell me I was fucking up. Like I took it for granted when it was happening. And now that I'm like by myself all the time, constantly in the studio, and I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of and stuff, it's like, man, thank you so much for all that time that you spent with me in that studio. Like it's just like growing as a person, and as an artist when you're around other people,
Yeah.
So shout out to you. Thanks for letting me into the competition.
Oh, my pleasure. That was Lyric. She turned you our way and whatnot. So that was really awesome. It's just really awesome. I'm really excited about it. So
yeah.
And the best place to find your work and follow you and stuff would be on your Instagram. Do you have a web page? What's the best place to
We don't. Yeah, we don't have a web page. Yeah, I guess I don't like Facebook. I prefer Instagram. I did Facebook just to get more people that I know on that. So I've been connecting with like personal people, but it's like through the business, I guess. And I put all the Instagram posts on there as well. But yeah, Instagram is what I would prefer. But you can find me on Facebook too if that's what you prefer. But yeah, Jem Glass on Instagram, and then Jem Glass Art on Facebook. So yeah.
Fresh.
And that's it. Yeah, I don't have a website. Yeah, we've got a catalog if you're a shop and you're interested. Jem Glass _ catalog, CATALOG. So yeah.
Okay, and wholesale shops can find you as well on Instagram and get all that stuff from you, right?
Yep. And it's all posted on my just Jem Glass account as well. If you don't remember that, because who does?
Well, we'll have it up here and everything because we want people to follow you because you're a rock star in my world. And I got to say, this is a complete honor to sit down here and spend some time with you today. And I really appreciate it.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm stoked. Yeah.
Man, that was really exciting and fun to hang out with Jem. I got to meet her with this Elevate Glass Open we're doing. Go check that out. You can see what she's doing there. More importantly, make sure you go check her out on her page. Follow all the new stuff she's checking out. But she's a rock star. She mentions the energy she has, which is no doubt. Had a lot of people sign up for this event, and she is the one that's rocking it. She's the first one to get the parts. She's just a rock star. She's amazing. So really awesome and really neat to get to hang out with her. That was awesome. Really quickly want to throw it out there as well. We have a 501c3 called Elevate Veterans. If you want to help us out with that, check it out, elevatevets.com. Really cool program we got to help rehabilitate and reacclimate veterans back into society. As well as we have Elevate Ambassadors. This is, you can get more information at elevateambassador.com. And as a girl, you can sign up as an Elevate doll, or as a guy, you can sign up as an Elevate gent. And with that, you get to help us build Elevate. Enough said with any of that stuff. I really want to say thanks a lot for watching us and hanging out with us here in Jem Glass today. Anyways, Elevate, mind, body, spirit.